Welcome back. We have seen in the last lecture about the Poolco model. In the Poolco model, we have seen that there will be a pool where all the sellers and the buyers, they'll come to just like a marketplace, and they will place their bids regarding the electricity, and then based upon the bids, they will be shortlisted. And once shortlisted, if let us suppose if they are shortlisted, then automatically they can trade their power. Either they can buy their power or they can sell their power. So all this will be divided in the exchange, power exchange, or what we call it as an electricity markets. Now let us suppose if in a market, let us suppose now I'll take a small example. Now let us suppose if there is a market, if generator 2, 3 and there are 5 generators, each one is capable of delivering 100 megawatts. Now he is delivering at 2 rupees, 3 rupees, 4 rupees and 5 rupees. Now let us suppose if there are 3 customers, C1 and C2 and C3, who wants 200 megawatts of power, 100 megawatts of power and 100 megawatts of power. Okay, now he is ready to pay 3 rupees, he is ready to pay even up to 4 rupees, he is ready to pay up to 5 rupees. So now which one will you be selecting basically? So the first one you will be selecting this guy and this guy and next this guy. The order of priority, if you carefully see, this is the order of priority 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. You will select this guy at the last position coming to the generator. But whereas in the customer side, you will be ready to choose the person who pays you the most. So you will select this guy first and next this guy, next this guy. Now if you see, at the end of the day, you should balance between the demand and supply. So now we do require 400 megawatts. So up to 400 megawatts, now this is the bar which you will be considering. So these people have been selected 1, 2, 3, 4 for supplying 400 megawatts, and these guys are being selected for 400 megawatts. Okay, so now based upon these two guys, so based upon these two scenarios, now MCP will be decided. It will be somewhere around 4 rupees to 3 rupees. So based upon these things, automatically you will be selecting the MCP. That we will discuss in the next classes. But as of now, if you carefully see, if the demand is very low, then automatically see, let us suppose if there is only 300 megawatts, let us suppose if this guy is not available, then automatically what happens? You will be selecting only up to this category, which means the people who are offering electricity at higher prices, they will be left out. Okay, now let us suppose this is the biggest problem with the pool. Who are benefited? The people who are providing electricity at a cheaper price, they will be benefited. So the advantage, this is the advantage. If you offer electricity at a cheaper price, then automatically you will find some buyer. If you offer electricity at a higher price, then you won't be selected. That is a problem with Poolco. Whereas on the other hand, on the buyer side, if you carefully see, let us suppose if there is a buyer who is at C4, he wants 500 megawatts and he is willing to pay 10 rupees also. So automatically what you will select? You will select this guy because he is ready to pay 10 rupees. And he wants 500 megawatts. See, which means all the generators are supposed to provide electricity to this guy. And this guy is willing to pay 10 rupees. So these guys will not get any electricity. Which means that the person who is ready to pay the highest price will automatically get the power in this Poolco model. And if you are ready to pay only smaller prices, then automatically you may not get. If generation is available, then automatically you will get. But if it is not available, then you will be left out in the markets. Now see here, just with the entry of this player, the MCP was earlier somewhere between 3 to 4. Now the MCP is around somewhere around 10. Or it may be somewhere around between 4 and 10. See, the MCP changes every time. The market clearing price, what we call it as market clearing price. How it will be computed using supply and demand curves, that we will discuss in the next classes. But as of now, if you see, market clearing price changes with the demand and supply all the time. So maybe I am not ready to take up this market clearing price. Let us suppose if I want this market clearing prices all the time to change. Now let us suppose this is the case. Market clearing prices. Now there is a guy, a buyer 1 and a seller 1. There is no doubt that this guy will buy the power from this pool itself. He is also selling from the pool itself. Now, but they have got an understanding between them. Now let us suppose they have got an understanding that they are going to exchange the trade power at 5 rupees per megawatt, 5 rupees per unit. But they will follow the policy of a pool co-market. They will anyway, they sell the power in electricity market, they will buy the power in electricity market. Now let us suppose if the MCP in the pool market, but they have made a separate contract for 5 rupees per unit. So they will see the MCP here, if the they will see the MCP here. If the MCP is 4 rupees per unit, then automatically, see, the long-term contract is a way higher when compared to this MCP. So automatically what happens is, this buyer, he will pay 4 rupees to the pool, and additionally because the seller one has already agreed that he is going to get 5 rupees, right? So that's why if the MCP is lower, this guy will pay 4 rupees to the pool and 1 rupee to the seller. So because they have already made their decision of buying and selling at 5 rupees per unit. So if the MCP is lower, then automatically he pays 4 rupees to this guy and 1 rupee to this guy. Let us suppose if the MCP is very higher, then automatically it happens in the reverse way. If the MCP is higher, then let us suppose if it is somewhere around 6 rupees. So he pays 6 rupees to the pool, but in turn he will get 1 rupee from the seller. Okay, so it means that these are called as contracts for differences, which means that they have already made their contract for a fixed amount, but they will be following pool price. And any difference between their contract and the pool price, they will adjust on a personal note. So this concept is called as contracts for differences. Normally, if you carefully see presently after the Ukraine war, see the aviation fuel has gone to very high values. Even the fuel in our country also has gone to very high values. Now, as a developing country, we may not be able to purchase oil at these high fuel prices. Let us suppose if these high fuel prices, they exist for 2 months or 3 months. Now, we may not be in a position to acquire oil at these high fuel prices. So that's why what they do, the companies, they do a CFD basically. They will make a contract basically for, let us suppose for 18 months or 24 months. So in this 24 months, if the prices go high, no matter what, because of some exigencies or some, just like wars or some problems or natural problems, but they will be getting their power or electricity or crude oil only to the price for which they have already made the agreement. So, which is called as a hedging or future price markets, that we will discuss again in the second unit. But this concept is being followed by all the companies across the globe. Even now, if you carefully see that the CFD has helped so many aviation companies in the recent past, and also for oil companies also, because most of the countries, they benefited with this CFD. They had an agreement for 18 months for constant price of fuels, and that has benefited them. So despite the Ukraine war, the companies and countries who have followed this CFD, they have got benefited with this one. Okay, so now coming to the CFD, a quick review. See, although buyers and sellers in a pool co are prevented from making individual contracts, they may hold optional financial instruments. That's what I have called it, contracts for differences. It is just like hedging, a long-term contract, maybe for 18 months or 24 months, sometimes for 5 years or 10 years. It is an agreement between the generators and the distribution utilities or retail customers. What happens is that they will be allowed a physical dispatch of electricity between these two guys, but the price will be fixed between these two guys, the generators and the distribution utilities. When CFD is used, a power seller is paid a fixed amount over time, That is a combination of short-term market price and an adjustment for the difference. So how? As I've already said to you in the last case, let us suppose if they have already agreed, generator and Discom, they have already agreed for 5 rupees per unit. If the market clearing price is 4 rupees, the generator must get 5 rupees because they already made a contract. So that's fine. This guy will pay 4 rupees to the market for getting the power and 1 rupee for this generator, because he has already made up his mind to buy at 5 rupees, right? So he pays 4 rupees here, 1 rupee here. So the generator is happy because he has got 5 rupees for which he has made agreement. Similarly, when the price is 6 rupees, he must get only 5, he must get a revenue of only 5 rupees because I agreed for that one. So that's fine. This guy pays 6 rupees, but 1 rupee he will get from the generator. Okay, so at any ways, even though the market clearing price is higher, this guy is getting at 5 rupees only. He is getting 1 rupee from the seller. So what is the advantage of this one? One thing is, if the prices of MCP are going to vary wildly, then the customer will get a constant price. So he gets a stable power price. And one more thing is for the generator also. It provides a stable price for the stable income for the generators. So these are the advantage of contracts for differences. These are just financial instruments. Okay. So this is a part of Poolco model. So having discussed in the last video lecture and this video lecture regarding the Poolco model. Now, after this Poolco model, there is one other model called as a bilateral contracts model. And after discussing this model, we will see how well we can apply these two models to the Indian power markets. Okay. Thank you. I hope now you are able to understand the operation of Poolco model and identify the operation of independent system operator in Poolco model. And I hope now you are able to understand the concept of contracts for differences. Okay, thank you. And these are the lecture level questions. I hope you are able to answer them.